Samsung Galaxy S21 FE review. It's a good start for 2022. Phone delays are nothing unusual, but few phones have been as delayed as the Samsung Galaxy S21 FE. First tipped by leakers to launch as early as August 2021, the phone instead didn't launch until January 2022, when Samsung unveiled the new handset at CES in Las Vegas, over 11 months after the other S21 phones arrived. That delay hasn't had a direct impact on the phone itself, but does change where it sits in the market. The tech here is a few months older than it should be. The rivals it would have had last summer have since had price cuts, as has the regular S21, lest we forget, and it arrives right as we're about to see the launch of the Galaxy S22 series, due in February. So while there's nothing wrong with the Galaxy S21 FE per se, it's a pretty great phone, really. It's trickier to recommend right now, as at full price there are better buys elsewhere. From the front it looks almost identical to the other S21 phones, with a slim bezel and central punch-hole selfie camera, while on the rear you'll spot the trademark, contour-cut, camera in the corner. The main difference is in color and finish. Like the S20 FE before it, Samsung has opted for more colorful hues for this phone. There's black, well, graphite, and white, but also an olive green and a pastel purple. This time around the camera is wrapped in the same color as the rest of the phone too, rather than a contrasting reflective finish, a nod to the design we're expecting to see in next month's S22. I've got to say, I actually think this leaves the S21 FE looking better than its more expensive sibling. In terms of size, this phone sits in a sweet spot between the S21 and S21 Plus, and is only a little heavier than the regular model at 177 grams. It's got basically the same build quality too. Gorilla Glass Victus over the screen, an aluminium frame, and plastic back, with an IP68 rating to protect from water and dust. The 6.4 inches display used here is just a little larger than the 6.2 inches screen on the regular S21, but not so much as to make this feel like a big phone. It's still comfortable to hold, helped by the curved body and lightweight material. With a 120Hz refresh rate, Full HD Plus resolution, and an AMOLED panel, this is essentially just as good a display as you'll find in the other phones in the series, which is to say, it's about as good as you could hope to get at this price. In most parts of the world, the S21 FE is powered by Qualcomm's Snapdragon 888 chipset, which is paired with either 6 or 8 GB RAM, and 128 or 256 GB storage. Some markets, including Australia, instead get Samsung's own Exynos 2100, but the majority get the 888, which is what I've been testing. That's a powerful chip, and if the phone had launched last summer, that's all there would have been to say about it. Unfortunately, since then Qualcomm has launched the 888 successor, the Snapdragon 8 General 1, and we're already seeing the first phones launch with that chip. Again, it doesn't make the S21 FE a worse phone, but does raise the specter that most buyers would be better off waiting another month or two to buy a new phone with the next-gen chip. In any case, benchmarks reveal predictably impressive performance from the 888, though not up there with the fastest phones using that chip. I've noticed the phone getting hot during benchmarks and other demanding applications, which is no doubt holding it back a little, so it looks like Samsung's heat management leaves a little to be desired. I've actually been testing the model with just 6 GB RAM, so anyone buying an 8 GB model should expect slightly better results, though that's unlikely to help with the overheating. The Snapdragon 888 provides 5G support too, of course, and you'll also get Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.0 to round out the wireless connectivity. The camera is perhaps the chief area where the S21 FE is, on paper, a slight downgrade from the regular Galaxy S21, though the gap is small, and in some specific respects the FE may even have the edge. The main camera is in fact the same as the S21's main shooter, a 12MP, f1.8 sensor with dual-pixel autofocus and optical image stabilization, OIS. It's pretty excellent, truth be told. Samsung doesn't quite make the best cameras around right now, but it's not far off, and this is a good example of why. Shots are routinely crisp and vivid, with vibrant colors and excellent dynamic range. Thanks to the OIS, it holds its own in the dark too. Light sources still tend to get a little blown out, and there's a softness to some of my night mode photos that suggests more stabilization is needed, but few phones at this price would do much better. It's joined by a 12MP ultra-wide and 8MP telephoto. The former is not quite to the same standard as the S21's thanks to a smaller sensor, which especially holds it back at night. In good lighting though, this is still better than the average ultra-wide. The telephoto offers 3x zoom, and thanks to OIS shots stay crisp and clear, even in the dark. This lens is trickier to compare to the S21's, as that phone actually uses a regular 64MP camera instead of a true telephoto, and crops in digitally, to surprisingly good effect. Those who follow the specs may appreciate that the FE features a true telephoto camera, but in practice the results are pretty similar. Battery and charging are two areas where Samsung phones tend to be fine, but nothing special, certainly not compared to devices coming from the likes of Oppo and Xiaomi. The same is true here. The 4500 mAh battery will last a day of normal use, but not loads more than that. That's probably good enough for most people, but if you know you're a heavy user you might want to look at other phones with better battery life. Samsung is shipping the S21 FE with Android 12 out of the box, running the company's own One UI 4.0 skin on top. Samsung has incorporated some, but not all, of Android 12's biggest features. Most notably, Google's Material U Tech, which pulls color tones from wallpaper images and uses them to set the colors of the phone's whole interface, is here, but given a somewhat narrower implementation than on the Pixel 6. You won't see the custom colors appear in as many places, so the effect is a little more muted. Importantly, the main Android 12 privacy features are included. There's a tweaked version of the privacy dashboard, here called Permission Usage, which lets you know which apps have used which of your phone's security permissions recently. Alert icons when the microphone and camera are in use also feature here, protecting you from unwelcome apps activating features they shouldn't be. And here's the rub. The S21 FE is out now and widely available, and it'll set you back. 6GB plus 128GB. £699 per $699 per €749. 8GB plus 256GB. £749 per $769 per €819. If you're tempted, you can buy it directly from Samsung, or from Amazon or any of the other usual phone and tech retailers.